Yo, gamers. We're back. I'm back from Universal. Well, I'm wearing a Mario hat. Okay, so we haven't beaten the final boss. At least I believe. I don't know. There could be more. I don't think so though. But yeah, we ended up having to call it off because I had to go drive. I could go on my vacation. And yeah, I ended up driving with 1 hour of sleep. It was not very smart of me, not gonna lie. But that's okay. You win some, you'll lose some. You only live once. Am I right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Pretty sure I'm right. It could be wrong, but you might live more than once. I'm not sure. I don't know if any of us can be sure. All right. Anyway, so we got Hulkenberg right here. We gotta listen to the people.
Come now.
When you've finished your business outside the palace, please promise me you'll return to resume your duties, Your Majesty. If you take this as my pressuring you not to venture out, that's not it at all. Only that as captain of the Royal Guard, I must know your whereabouts at all times. Relax, Hulkenberg. You didn't be so serious, Hulkenberg. Lighten up, maybe. You mean to say that I am too fussy? Well, 'tis only proper for the captain of the Royal Guard. To be overfamiliar would set a poor example. Imagine the scandalized faces of the rank-and-file guard.
Of course.
That said, not a day goes by that I don't reflect on our travels, now only a year past. I owe regaining my pride as a knight to that journey. I was but a wanderer searching in vain for the prince, and it was through you that I learned yet he lived. And in the end, it was your ascent to the I almost said accent. Ascent to the throne I supported. I never tire of the faces the younger guards make when I tell them of the time you acted as witness to my duel. Ah, Rodanth. Ah, you mean your duel with Rodanth? Yes, thanks to you, I was able to face him with eyes forward and put my past behind me. I'm pleased to say the knights of today are nothing like what they were under Rodanth's command. Soldiers take up their sword not for those in power, but for the people. And as the champion of the people yourself, we will do all in our power to protect you, our king.
Well,
you do not make it easy by sneaking out of the palace as you do, though I suspect the soldiers are getting used to your chaotic tendencies. They know they protect not just a king, but a ruler who stands beside his people and hears their voices in clarion truth. I will protect you with my life, as I always have endeavored to do, Your Majesty. Only let me stay by your side to do so.
What do you want to do?
There's still other people we could talk to, but did you want to go see Maria now? Oi, oi, here's a mug I haven't forgotten. You're the king now, ain't ya? The first time I saw you was the night before the royal funeral, if I recall. No offense, but you didn't exactly look like a prince. I think you'd go on to take down the notorious Luis and seize the crown for yourself. I couldn't make up such a story if I tried. But speaking of wild stories, can't you do something about Sunshade Row? What's bothering you? Well, you know the rep old Sunshade Row has. Poor, dirty, but people will still struggle to put food on the table here. Have been for a very long time. You're a good bloke, and I think you'll make a fine king, but don't think you can just spruce the place up a bit and that'll solve the problem. He doesn't mince words, but I'm glad he's being honest at least.
You know. Oh.
Mustari's place in this world will surely find new footing, with Lady Yufa making great efforts as one of the king's 6 partisans. I wish I could say we were free to worship as we pleased, but that's a dream still among the clouds for the moment.
Peace.
It's just too much.
You lived in a giant sandworm? To research bugs? Quite right, and gold beetles from all over the kingdom as well. Insects are vital to understanding the essence of magic. And here I thought their only use was disgusting Martyrian cuisine. What a find. Say, what would you say to lending your wisdom to my shop? We can do business in the open now, thanks to the king. I am gratified by the offer. Another supports my research. That's cool, the bug guy got a good ending, bro. The beetle guy.
That's the way. to see you.
Why, hello, your majesty. It's only been a year since your coronation, but I see you've become quite apt at sneaking away from your palatial duties. Under constant fire from knaves of all trades, con artists, and critics alike, your opening act has been rather tumultuous, no? Oh, has it? I hadn't noticed. How kingly an answer. Never missing an opportunity to display how capable you are. Commendable. Besides, most of those agitators are the kind of scum that stirs the pot in hopes that they might benefit from this country's turmoil. Nothing I couldn't handle, of course. All in a day's work for the royal adjutant to the Citizens' Council. Quite an ally I should hope. I wonder if my mother would be the slightest bit proud to see who I've become. That I'm doing my damnedest to use my talents for good, as I always should have. I'm sure she would. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yes.
I hope so. I was such a problem child. I'd like to make this a country where honest folk like my mother can be happy.
Now that you mention it.
Ah, that reminds me. Do you remember Dataram, my hometown's landowner? He told me to send you his regards. He's since confessed his crimes and is awaiting trial. You were the one who awakened his conscience. It makes sense, doesn't it? You've proven your ideals to be true. That's why the country is doing so well. There's nothing more to it.
Thank you.
I'm hardly qualified to speak of pride, but if this country has one, it's you. And I am proud to be among its people. Perhaps under your rule, the day will come that even we Nydia can walk about freely in our true forms. You're curious about what I look like in my true form? I'd be happy to oblige, but let's save it for another time, shall we?
Oh.
Well, I see our king is out on some personal business, eh? I believe Hulkenberg was searching for you, but I suppose it's none of my business who comes or goes. I'm on break myself. Only try not to frustrate your royal guards over much, They'll take their duties quite seriously, much like their captain. Who am I kidding? A knight who smiles is surely a myth. That's become clear to me since becoming titled. What could be more bizarre? A UGF outcast, once a wanted criminal with a bounty on his head, made knight commander? There was, of course, some opposition at first, but the more heart-to-heart talks I had, the more accepting they've become, albeit gradually. Times are changing. The world has only begun to change.
True.
Indeed. Grand titles and posts across the nation are held by all manner of tribe now, each contributing with their respective strengths. I've realized over the past year just how much a nation is defined by its people. No matter how great a king, he alone does not a country make.
However,
Yet he stands for those very people as symbol and representative. That the king and those around him are of mixed tribes, it has already caused a great shift in sentiment, even for those in the rural villages. You mean your hometown? You speak of your hometown?
yes.
Yes, indeed. They had shut themselves away, and now they actively engage with other villagers. Your coronation inspired that village to greater heights. It proved that barriers can be broken, and that even they could take their first step. New winds are blowing in every corner of this country. I'll have to make another trip back home with my son to see the changes for myself soon enough. And someday, I hope distant generations will grow up only knowing conflict born of tribal differences from history books.
We shall.
We have a ways to go before that day comes, but until it does, let us forge the path forward. Forge the path toward it, Your Majesty.
Yo.
Hey, out inspecting again? Seems a right pain to me, but I appreciate you going to all the effort. Making your rounds, Basilio?
Hey.
Yeah, captain of the Teradian Brigade reporting in. And I'm pleased to report there's nothing to report, Your Majesty, so I'm taking a break. Bit of a mouthful in it. Still, not used to calling myself a captain besides. We've even taken in some survivors from Luis's troop. Troops, but don't you worry. I've got 2 eyes on them, even when I ain't looking. Way I see it, they weren't the ones trying to make the world worse. I just gotta show them how power is supposed to be used, yeah? We owe it to you that there's less discrimination in the city these days. Fewer and fewer are turning to a life of crime to make ends meet. If Dell could see Grand Trot today, his eyes would bug out. And not just Dell, a lot of the guys who didn't make it. Vinka. I take it you mean Vinka.
Yeah.
You remember him? Those damned experiments trapped him in a vengeance he couldn't see past, but I feel like even he might smile seeing what I'm up to now. We built this piece with a lot of blood and tears, so I say those of us who made it this far owe it to all of them, and what didn't, owe it to all of them what didn't to protect it. Maybe I've got nothing to report today, but it's not like bad people will just stop being bad because you're king now.
Thank you.
You've been through a lot, though, so thanks for not giving up on us. Or the world, for that matter. You spot any trouble that I didn't spot first, you just point me at it and I'll solve it quick like.
This place has really changed.
Your Majesty, what are you doing in this wretched sinkhole of a... It may be better than it was before, but this is still Sunshade Row. It is no place for a king, Your Majesty. Your folks are hanging for nothing these days. But there's still no shortage of knaves who'll die at the end of a rope here. As long as there's injustice, there'll be people who think it gives them a free pass, which means there'll be gallows. Last year changed a lot, big and small. I'll hold my post here, hoping that next year is better than, rather than worse.
Well, I sure don't want to go back to the old kingdom.
I'm just...
Either Louise nor Forden took the crown. It was an Elda of all people. Guess our bets were completely off the mark. Yeah, well, something stinks about it. Magic was at work, so who knows? And did you hear the rumor?
Oh.
They're saying those disgusting humans are our ancestors. Nothing but crazy stories since the new king took the throne. King held it together this year, but who knows if it'll last another. Whoa, Elda, you really became king. King, hey king, oh king. Haha. Elda. You might be king, but nothing will change. You'll forget about me. You'll forget I was even here. I'll have all who need it. Help, you say. You've been saying that a lot, haven't you? I've been watching you for a while, for a long time, here in the corner of the city. I hate people who look, see a parapist like me with no place to go and pretend they see nothing. Don't forget that.
Well.
Oh, Your Majesty, running around Sunshade Row at a time at this time of year? You must have some particular tastes. Perhaps you've heard. There's unrest across the land as the oppressed are rising up in revolt against their oppressors. Yes. Or perhaps that news hasn't reached your walled garden here in Grand Trot. History books may not be kind to this era. You mean me, right? Goodness, you truly are dense. Don't you realize how your dangerous ideology has become the spark of new threats? The dim-witted of the world only fan the flames with their anxiety, be it people or monsters. To be satisfied is in our nature. Oh, what a dick. Seen rumors of the king running about in Sunshade Row are true. I've no intention of prying now. Thanks to you besting Luis, I get to keep running my shop. Wasn't sure I could with the sky turning red there. Not sure we could take another war. It won't happen. It's reassuring to hear you hear that from the king himself. Still, nothing goes quite the way you expect to, eh? As long as people worry, people will want weapons, so I guess I'll be in business a good while longer.
You're kidding.
Oi, oi, been a while, no? You must remember me. I'm Sergeant Glekov the Great. Simon? Of course I am. It's the end of the year and all, so why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? And Grand Trot's got a fine selection of ales, too. It'd be a shame to not make the most of it. But, you know, I've been trying to cut back, actually. When we lost Fidelio, God rest his soul, drink was the only thing that would keep me going from mad.
I guess.
Certainly couldn't follow Luis after that, so leaving the Charadius was sound, but it's still hard for a parapist to find decent work. Bringing my life away seemed the way to go. I assumed all of this from Luis's side, who survived... Wait, what the frick? Shit, sorry. I don't know why I'm not getting notifications on my watch whenever I'm getting notifications. It's kind of annoying the shit out of me. Like, I have getting somewhat important messages that I need to see. I assumed all of us from Luis's side who survived would have been sent straight to the gallows, but letting us join the brigade, well, real generous of you. Not sure I would have fit in anywhere else, speaking plain. Plus, with old Basilio in charge, we're feeling right at home. There we go, now I'm getting it. Now I'm back to drinking for the fun of it, and I owe it all to you, Your Majesty. You're all right.
Thank you kindly.
Oh my god, it's a gold beetle.
Oi there.
Boy there.
Oh.
Hey, Your Majesty, listen to this. We just had a guest in the store claiming to be the chief of Etria. He said he wanted ingredients for the withering potion they use on the island, and how should I put this? That Mustari village chief, he's rather easy on the eyes, wouldn't you say? Wait, sorry, forget about that. I swear I had a point. I wanted to tell you that all sorts of people come visit now, and I enjoy doing business more now than I ever did before. She wants the frickin' what's his name? I forgot his name. Oh, it's gonna bother me now. E.
Say there.
Whatever. It's fine.
Stupendous.
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 Hey, mister.
Even though Luis died, my dad still isn't happy. It's because my mom died and she can't come back. But you know, Mr. King, I've been cooking instead of my mom, and I'm trying really hard. I'm happy to be with my dad, so next year I'm gonna work harder than ever. My mom is watching me from the sky, isn't she? Just like your dad, Mr. King?
Stupendous.
Stupendous. Can I just, like, teleport around to my followers? Okay, let's go to Stroll.
Say there.
Dang, I ran into him anyway. Skulking about the city again, are we? Which is to say, Hulkenberg is on the hunt. The classic game of cat and mouse, though who is which, I dare say not, huh? Been a year since you ascended the throne, but it's like you've hardly changed. I can say the same to you. You haven't changed much either, Stroll. That's Lord or General Stroll, Your Majesty. I'll never get used to such titles. I really should take a page from Juna's book. She has a gift for delegating, like she was born to do so. Not like I can talk. I actually came out for a bit of a breather myself.
So,
You know, I see now that even those at the top have their struggles, a little too clearly. A general's duties feel overwhelming at times. But there are lives hanging in the balance. I recognize the weight of every decision I make, and I do find satisfaction in protecting those lives.
hey,
Remember our first meeting back at the recruitment center? I, a fallen noble with nothing to my name, and you, a struggling elder traveler. Back then, my only goal was getting ahead. My people were a little more than an afterthought. If I hadn't met you, I'd never realized the truth about my fortune, my father's intentions, and I certainly wouldn't have saved the Hollians.
thank you.
I owe seeing the joy in their faces to you. I think I've said it before, but again, thank you. Give yourself some credit. Yeah, give yourself some credit, Stroll.
No.
I would still owe any credit I could take to you for showing me the way. They live stable, peaceful lives thanks to you. You've a whole country on your shoulders now. The road ahead will be full of challenges we can't possibly foresee, but show me the way and I'll blaze the trail. Now and always, it's my role as the warrior to be
That's
the vanguard. Our titles may have changed, but I'd like to think our friendship is as steadfast as ever. Don't hesitate to rely on me now and always.
Say there.
Also 100. Oh, there's someone near me. Oh, what is up, Katharina? Oh, well, if it ain't the big man himself. Good timing, mate. I just got back into town myself. Long time no see.
Oh, right.
Ain't it been? I've been out traveling since I took the reins of the Seekers Recon team. Hard to believe it's been half a year. And crazy doesn't even begin to describe what's beyond the sea. The sights, the magic, everything is so fantastic, I'm already itching to get back out there. Well, I'm not especially keen on dodging the bloody cannonballs when my ship gets too close. Lots of tension out there, but what country isn't a little tense? Everything from the customs to the way they make, or they think is so different. My head spins. Makes all the tribal bickering seem right dull if I can speak my mind. But this country's changing for the better. I'm glad I turned over the throne to you. Appreciate it.
Hold on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, come on, I'm just roasting you. After we knocked heads, I knew I could trust you with making the lives of us Parapists better than it was. All my cohort have found jobs, and some of them have even picked up some new skills from being out at sea for so long.
See you soon, I hope.
But don't you worry your kingly head. I'll have it all whipped up in a report for you. Do something proper kingish with it, yeah?
My king.
Juno! Could you...
Wait a sec.
Wait a second, isn't that the cat from Academia? If that place was made of magic, how is it here in real life? Say nothing of how he could have survived in a deserted ruin buried in the snow. That shouldn't be possible, right? Who knows? It's a mystery after mystery around here. If memory serves, the last king did build himself a study in that mage academy. Do you think Academia was styled after that, maybe? I wonder what His Majesty, what Moore felt when he put this little guy in Academia. Cat tends to himself quietly, utterly impartial to us.
My king.
Oh, there you are, Tabor. Heard you were in town, so I decided to see if we might cross paths. I have so much to tell you about my inspection, so I'm afraid you'll need to clear your diary for me soon. Inspection? What inspection?
Hold on.
Really? Do you need to go back to bed? You were the one who sent me to the Mage Academy, were you not?
Well,
Mage Academy's reconstruction is going swimmingly. Repairs are in full swing, and we're already processing admissions. I must say, I'm still surprised you appointed me of all people to go, to be the Academy's headmistress. I was rather looking forward to going back on tour as a songstress. Oh, and shall I introduce you to my furry little friend? I skipped him up in the Academy of all places. During the reconstruction, they stumbled upon the little guy in some kind of observatory supposedly used by a king long ago. Considering the igniter around his neck, I'm sure he was being taken care of. I mean, there's no way a cat would survive alone in that cold, could he?
so
Regardless, our mysterious kitty is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Academy. All that knowledge was lost when it fell, so we're starting from scratch. It may even be hiding secrets as big as the Dragon Temple or the Sanctum. Oh, and I'm keeping the cat. Feels like fate, you know.
speaking of which,
And speaking of fate, on my way back, I met up with Myrtus. She's well, I trust?
Now we're talking.
She's been keeping well, I hope?
yeah.
More than well. Her throat has been fine, and she's a fairly prominent singer about town now. We both just keep soaring to new heights, her in music, and me coming face to face with magic again.
Hey,
Surely you remember, music was the first magic born in this world, yes? When the heart expresses itself through music, it moves the hearts of others. And when they make hearts swell, why, there's no end to the magic. So just you watch. With music and magic at my side, I'm going to change the world. All will have equal opportunity to hone their talents at the Mage Academy. Our doors are open to all. That's what my sister would have wanted, and if it makes the world a better place, isn't that just grand?
magic.
Rilla taught me that magic is more than a tool. It's in all of us, deep in our hearts.
Dear me,
Dear me!
big as a pickle.
The king himself out browsing the shops. Perhaps I need to draft up a royal certificate of appointment. Tell the world we supply goods to the royal family. Any recommendations? Anything you'd recommend? One igniter in particular, in fact, though I'm afraid we're all sold out of it at the moment. The igniter I made at the children's request, the one that lights up with rainbow colors, is selling startlingly well. The store was packed with families and children. I now hold a position where I control the distribution of all manner of goods throughout the kingdom as the head of the Igniter Consortium. I can't help but think that if I had been in this position sooner when the church's violence, the tragedy of the village could have been prevented. It wasn't your fault. Nothing you could have done about that. There's nothing you could have done at the time, Brigitte. I know that. I only rose to this position once you became king and shed light on what lurked in the shadows of this country. Though you can't take full credit, as it were, I was nominated for my new position by my colleagues. Our new king has changed this country for the better. However, as a former arms dealer, it would be naive to think all weapons can ever disappear from this world. It's all the more reason I hope the reasons for people to wield them will continue to decline. To that end, I'll continue doing all that I possibly can with all that I am, just as you do.
Speaking of,
Ah, yes. Do you remember my dog? I found the ones who took her, and naturally I considered ending their lives. But there she was, sitting beside them. Evidently, they could not bring themselves to harm such a sweet creature, so they decided to keep her instead. Let's go! The dog's okay! Let's go! I was just thinking about that, too. W. I had no choice but to spare their lives. I couldn't subject a gentle dog to the atrocities I'd commit in her name. You should come play with her sometime. I'm sure she remembers you. So wholesome.
I do believe.
Is this potential wife? Or MC?
Greetings.
Working hard as ever, Tabor. Were you going about town and listening to what the people have to say? Myself, I've just come from the Crown Court, where I've been consulting with the people about their grievances and disputes as Chief Magistrate. A court has the time for that. A court is taking on common grievances?
Yes, of course.
In the past, we were busy with cases of violence and theft, but those have decreased remarkably.
In truth.
As you're undoubtedly aware, in the past many citizens were sentenced to hang without so much as a trial.
Alas.
I'm pleased to report things are different now. Anyone regardless of race or status can tell their side of the story in court and be judged equally and fairly. It just goes to show, anything is possible, even for a priestess to become a chief magistrate. What the heck? Duck button. Okay. And my brother is making great strides as a village chief. He rather hated the role before, but he's truly found his calling, I think.
The reason is.
As I said, no one knows what the future holds. It's all the more reason I try to guide the people to good choices. I want to live in a society that practices kindness, where those who suffer need not turn to crime. And so I practice what I
Now that
preach.
you mention
The
it,
other day I went to visit Ovi's church to inquire with those who are sick there about how the kingdom can be more accessible to them. How was Ovi? Was Ovi doing well?
very well.
Yes, we practiced dancing together, and then we showed her mother. All of them are ready to ease into working again. Hearing them made me reflect on all the people who still need our help. Until now, the only hope those people had was God.
Believe.
I want to fight for them to have options under laws and systems they can rely on, in addition to higher power. A country where all the tribes with all their values can join hands in harmony. That's what we need.
Because
You aim to achieve that too, yes, Your Majesty? I hope you'll allow me to keep walking alongside you in this. Wait, what? Oh, they're complete. I'm like, why are they... Why do I have quests? That scared me. And Eurus.
But
Eurus. Talio! Oh, what brings His Royal Majesty here? Come to feel the wind on your face too, have you? I know how it is. I've the fancy old title of Chief Engineer of the Kingdom Infrastructure Development Bureau and can research as I please now. But something's missing. Epilogue time indeed. Hello, Winston. So I threw off that stuffy old uniform and came to gaze upon the runner in the way that I do. I know how you feel.
about that.
I feel like I know what you mean when you say something's missing. I knew you'd agree. I think my bones are aching to feel the wind. I rather miss the days of dashing hither and thither in the runner. Not that I'm ungrateful for the gracious title you've given to a man who used to skulk about, modifying gauntlet runners. You haven't seen anything yet. Why, one day I'll invent a teleportation device that will deliver fresh fish straight from Oceania to your palatial... I don't know how you're supposed to say that. Palatial probably. Palatial plates, because it's like a palace, but I don't know, man. It would change the world, wouldn't you say? I'm just a bit, stuck at the beginning. on the development.
Indeed.
And it's times like this I need stimulation of the mind. Do you have anything that might do the trick? Do I smell another relic hunt? Are you gonna send me on another relic hunt? Don't pretend you didn't enjoy it. Every time you'd pop back in with one, I remember how I could hardly contain my excitement. I do so miss traveling like that. Even if the relics themselves are better off left untouched, they've become the guiding principles of my research, you know.
That's...
Convenience is important, but one must consider safety in the efforts it might have on the world, or the effects it might have on the world. An engineer who dumps a burden on future generations is no engineer at all.
However...
Still, it's no small feat to design with a perfect balance of safe and revolutionary. Even I struggle with it, and I'm a bally genius. Ah, I knew it. What I need is stimulation, Your Majesty. You know, like the soul-shaking speed and quiver of a drive engine. You'll let me know if you ever want to go out for a spin, won't you? Our dear old girl, sparking clean and always ready for takeoff. Barden. Is Barden actually in town? What up, Barden?
That's something.
What an unexpected coincidence, Your Majesty. No guards with you today. Ha, don't worry, I'm no tattletale. I myself just left a meeting going over the provincial government, or how the provincial governments are doing. We convened for the new year. How are things in Martira?
So,
How are things in Martira? Oh, it's as lively as it used to be, and we owe it all to you, Your Majesty. That dodgy mess you cleaned up for us feels like ancient history now. And I'm pleased to report, as head of the provincial lords, it's nothing but good news reaching my ears. Better relations toward towns has employment up and overall welfare too. Each town has specialties and wisdom to offer, and when we combine our heads, there's no problems we can't solve. I just feel so blessed to be part of it. I know I made some blunders when I first stepped into the governor's role, but I'm happy to share my failings so others don't repeat my mistakes. That brings me back. That really brings me back.
Got to say,
I know I was trying to do too much on my own back then, and I got a bit overzealous. Of course, some lords are like I was once, and would rather manage things at their sole discretion than leave things to the people. And yes, taking every matter to public opinion can be laborious, what with all the proceedings and disputes.
then again,
Still, changing our lives with our own hands makes the process worth the trouble.
brilliant.
And choosing a king of our own will was all the inspiration we'll need to change. We needed for change.
Lovely, that.
God, I can't read right now. We got everyone? Okay, so now we need to go to Maria.
Aha.
Oh, she's up here.
So,
I think we've heard all we can from the people. Should we head to where Maria is?
that reminds me.
Being here sure brings back memories. You remember how we came here looking for Maria before the tournament for the throne? She was crying back then, though. She's happy now. Things are different now, though. You can say that again. This country's turned around since then, no doubt about that. I'm sure there will always be differences of opinion, but your ideals are really coming to fruition now. I can feel it. That reminds me, what's up with the book you're carrying around now? Is that the one you've been working on yourself? I'm excited to see what kind of fantasy you can conjure up. But maybe that's not even a word for it. After all, if you're the one putting it in ink, that means you're going to make it a reality someday. Now then, Your Majesty, shall we get going? Voice acting, please. Voice acting, please. Would she be praying, though? Hey, this place got a facelift.
Hello there. Oh,
Yo, what's
right.
up?
I suppose now I should call you Your Majesty. You know, I was just telling Papa, even through all that mess, everyone's really been working hard.
I'm keeping my promise.
Am I keeping my promise properly from back then?
Yes, you beat the villain, and now the city's full of smiles. And I'm sure Papa's smiling down on you too.
That's good. Hearing that from you really lifts my heart.
It's joy to see kids like her smile. The future changes slowly, and the burdens of its momentum will fall on their shoulders one day.
Don't worry. I'll try to do my part with what I've got. I want to help everyone understand that the world could be a better place if we can join hands with one another. Miss Fabian's fed so many hungry people since things changed. Some of those people even said they found their place there. I think I did too. If we can all change together for the better like that, we'll be closer to your Majesty's and Papa's dream.
A place where I ought to be. A side of myself I ought to show. The path is never clear.
And I want to help with something too. I want everyone across the land to be able to smile.
So wholesome. You make a trusty advisor.
Yes, I expect great things, my trusty advisor.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Majesty. Oh, thank you, Your Majesty.
We should be the ones thanking her. Feels like I can see the entire country's future in her smile.
Wholesome 100.
Everyone.
Long time no see. How have you been?
As we find ourselves afield, I thought I might visit Alsace myself.
Hold on a tick. Those people there. Surely not.
Naturally, we're drawing attention. We didn't all have to go at once.
Needn't fuss, old thing. It's been too long since we were all together again anyway.
Lady Tuna, did she really come all this way in a runner? Could have asked His Majesty to pop over and bring you back with a teleport or two.
True.
Unmitigated nerve.
Oh, it's fine. I wanted to take in our country as it is. It's definitely a little rougher outside the capital's walls. There's still traces of melancholia around, and the odd human roaming about.
We're sending soldiers out for every incident we can. But it's not easy to hear the voice of the people from more distant regions.
I guess it's obvious. But just because you're king now doesn't make you suddenly all-seeing.
A
Why
lesson
not?
I
It's
learned
fine.
last year. In the end, I was blind to a great deal of this world. Never would have learned if I hadn't pushed out the door and seen it with my own eyes.
He's right. The capital can be a bit of a bubble. There will always be more to do and learn beyond its walls.
A year ago, I would have just said we could fly over ourselves. Well, I mean, let's be real. The capital isn't going to fall apart if we just sneak over for a little tour, is it?
Of course not. We specifically put precautions in place to keep things running.
Yet it has only been 1 year. We cannot be too complacent too soon, lest the dissidents seize on the opportunity.
Oh, there he is! Over there! See? I told you, that's His Majesty, innit? Might have been a bit too obvious.
Oi there, Your Majesty!
You dare hoy the king?
Steady on, Hockenberg, calm. You needn't draw steel on the poor fellow. We're the ones who indulged in this little day trip.
Your Majesty, thanks for all you do, really. Have to say, my life's a lot easier now.
There's more work to do every day. But we're in this together. We believe in you.
Awesome.
Everyone's so supportive. Kind of brings back memories from last year.
Rather. It's the sort of thing to get a chap all misty-eyed over the past. What a journey it was.
We really did just leg it up and down the country slaying dragons, eh? Can't believe we actually survived it.
They were dangerous times, but exciting ones too.
When we fought to appease the dragon god, I had no idea we would have to face another 4 dragons.
Nor I. Never thought the day would come when I'd be hailed as a dragon slayer. Life is full of surprises.
Right.
I resolved to believe in my ideals no matter what may come even back then. Even if the world is slow to change, a king's beliefs can never waver.
It was a hard road, but we did have fun together, didn't we?
Looks like we're drawing a crowd.
time to get back to work.
Indeed. A veritable mountain of tasks awaits us, and I will see it crested.
And not long after, the new year dawned.
Some days later. We're in the runner!
A journey? Are you really planning on leaving us?
I won't force you to come.
I won't force you to come. I'm fine going alone.
Or maybe they want to go. I can't let myself stagnate. I want to learn more about the world.
I already told you. I'll follow you wherever you go.
Sounds like
Calico,
fun,
my
but
goat.
a daily jaunt down to the slums is one thing, and a proper journey is quite another.
Let's go, Nerus!
You're
I
a king
go.
now, lad. You've got the people's expectations on your shoulders. It's all right to just sit on your throne and mind the home front, you know?
He doesn't want to. I don't care to be kingly.
I don't care to be kingly. That's less important than doing what I need to do.
You're not even concerned? Can't you take this a little more seriously?
Ever the fearless gadabout, eh? Well, I take your point, lad. Magla and the humans make a fine barometer for the anxiety still swirling in the country. So you go out and give it a proper survey, where it is and how much is there. If people can't face their anxieties, they can't keep their eyes forward. And if they can't do that, we'll have a bally hard time moving forward as a nation or a people. So you want to get a better grasp of it all. That's your most important duty as a ruler. That's what you're thinking, eh?
Right.
Even the most faraway future begins with the belief that it can be realized. So I'll press onward. That's the best I can do.
If that was your plan, you could have just said so.
Sounds like a fine idea to me. A proper spot of fun, besides. Wouldn't expect any less from our king and captain. Well, since I'm the bally court engineer, I've no choice but to come along. I'm the only driver fit to maneuver the Royal Skyrunner after all. And why, you're the Dragon Slayer King, bane of monsters all across the country. When I imagine what sort of wondrous encounters you've got next, well, I'm all agog. Yes, here begins our quest anew. Let us sally forth upon our... hello? Are you not listening to me?
Everyone's here, aren't they? Oh, maybe not.
You've really got to stop chasing these ideas all on your own. You'll be the death of us.
Once again, sire, I've asked you countless times to give word if you're to leave the castle. Such confusion.
Olgaberg's so done with this shit.
You called for them beforehand.
Saved us a bit of time, eh? Though, hello, what's this? I count only 2 of the 6 partisans. Short a few spears.
For my part, I believe 'tis unrealistic for all of us to depart the capital together.
Oh, so you have no plans to stop our little adventure, eh?
Hulkenberg and I talked it over. We decided that if you insist on going, we'd rather go with you than stop you.
Are you sure?
Of
course they are.
This?
I was thinking back to our last fight with Luis. So many people supported us, but not for any high-minded ideals or arguments.
They were supporting us because we were actively fighting a monster on their behalf. In the end, people make choices based on their personal experience and emotion. Even if decided justly and supported by prosperity, people may struggle to trust a king whose face they do not know. An invisible ruler is no cure for their fears.
Right. I'm not opposed to the idea of getting out into the world again. Really, it might be the wisest move to make sure you're a king everyone knows.
My friends and allies believe as I do. Their support is the greatest treasure I could have.
Still, this early into the new year, 'tis never a dull moment in your majesty's employ.
Bit of a smaller party than we last set out with, but it's a pleasure to be on the road again with you.
Okay, but can we really afford to have both our general and the Royal Guard's captain coming along for this?
'Tis natural course for the Royal Guard to accompany the king. And I trust my corps is not so feeble that it will fall apart in my absence.
We'll make it work. Got to learn to trust others and delegate, right? And we'll just have to lead by example.
Thank you.
Thank you. All of you. Let's be off.
You once heard my voice and answered a query in kind. Is fantasy a powerless creation?
No.
A timeless question. So long as life remains in the world, we seekers all shall search for our answer. But he will find his. Of that I am certain. And it is thanks to you for believing in and guiding him. That was the true purpose of my royal magic, you know. To seek and obtain guidance from denizens of a land beyond ours.
I love that.
A land that has not yet lost hope. And it was you who answered the call. Armed with your hope, armed with the power of fantasy, you rose in glory. Such courage, such whimsy, and yes, what thrills.
The fourth wall break goes crazy.
You have my sincerest thanks.
The fourth wall break goes crazy. Not like they didn't do it at the beginning of the game, too.
It's been far too long.
Aye, the wind feels an echo of days past.
Unusually poetic for you.
Hey, Iceman! Everyone's gonna be here.
They're awful, aren't they? They would have left us behind. Oh.
Well, I'm not certain we're in a position to talk, having followed straight after, saying we could just teleport back.
Oh.
Well, hey, we figured the kids might want to change your scenery, like.
They brought Maria! Yo!
Poetic indeed. That the scepter's absence restored order to Magla, and even greenery to the sands.
Oh, that the desert's green now.
You better.
Let's go.
Peak cinema. Oh man, we're sitting through this credits, man. Oh man. Yeah, 47 minutes already. That would have been so bad. I would have gotten no sleep before that drive. So I literally got an hour of sleep that night. Cool piece of art. Of academia. Makes me wonder if they're gonna make a sequel. That could be hard, but they could probably do it if they wanted to. Or if they're gonna pull a Persona or something where they're not like directly connected. I mean, they did talk about the other lands, specifically the ones that Katharina went to. So it makes me wonder if they would maybe do like another story that takes place in a different land. Maybe Katharina makes a cameo. DLC. Has Atlas done a story DLC? Or do they always just do the re-release with new content? Kind of wish they would just do the DLC, to be honest. But I mean, I guess they do a lot of quality of life stuff in the re-releases. I've never even heard of half of these things. Freaking River. Oh my gosh, it's a Riz Inc. I know it's not this. It's not the stupid brain rot Riz. But you know, it's still funny anyway, because you know, freaking River. Lotus Inc. Wait, the NPC arrangement was just one guy? I love this light motif so much. I love how many songs they mix it into as well. So good. It was so epic in that final boss fight. Down team. I don't think I recognize any of these voice actors. That's also because I don't play a lot of games with, like, European voice acting, I suppose. Doing it again, bro. Oh, really? I love it when they do that. I think they did that for like the Final Fantasy VII remake as well, which I think was really cool. I love it when these big AAA studios take fresh voice actors and use them, especially as their main characters. I think it's really cool. And I think they all did a great job. I think the voice acting in this game was fantastic. I'm glad they decided to go with, I'm assuming they're all European. I'm really glad they did, because I feel like it fits the kind of setting better. I don't know why. I suppose we just kind of associate like that kind of time. I know it's not a real time period, but you know, it's kind of based off of like the medieval time period. That's just what you kind of associate it with, I suppose. Which, I mean, would also make sense with like a Japanese / Chinese dub, I suppose. I feel like they were a big part of that as well. But like when you think of your like stereotypical like medieval castles, kings, that kind of stuff, I don't know. I'm have to go to European. It's the Game of Thrones effect. Well, fun fact, I've never watched Game of Thrones, but yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Pop culture did it, probably. Oh, Lord of the Rings. Actually, Lord of the Rings is probably one of the best examples, you could say, actually. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. I think that's what does it. Atlus Saga. Hey, look, it's the guy. The great secret Tabor.
From a world I shall never know.
It's gotta be it's somewhat confusing that I named both the main character Tabor and the person Tabor, but I'm assuming this is the one that we entered first.
In your eyes, I know our journey was ultimately a fiction. However, I hope your memories of this fantastical adventure burn as bright in your reality. I hope the promise of our world echoes in you. With all my heart, I hope that fantasy gives you strength.
I love fantasy, bro. What keeps me going? What was that? Was that another runner?
The rubble's just baked for tourists now.
Oh, is that the Sharadius?
Let's see it all. Let's see the world.
Yeah.
A new journey now beckons. In days of eld, the people prospered and perished in turn. Struck by their ways, I wrote a book of my dearest ideas. A tale of fantasy. In my vision, they placed their trust, and so the kingdom breathed new life.
The strength to believe in the unknown, that can change everything. Without a doubt, you will face all sorts of trials ahead. But carry onward with all your heart. Onward,
Fearless into a world unknown.
Oh man, I feel like they are teasing a sequel or DLC, like you said. Either it's just an open-ended ending, which wouldn't surprise me either. But fantasy lives on. Sequel bait for real. By saving your clear data, certain things can transfer over as is to a new game. You can transfer currently owned items with some exceptions: money, mag, royal virtues, scanned enemies, memorandum, archetype, statuses, and total playtime. Well, there it is! Metaphor! Such a good game. Well done, Atlas. You did it. You made a non-SMT Persona Etrian Odyssey RPG, and it was great. Cool. Can't wait to see what they do with this franchise if they decide to do anything with it. This might be a one-off, but they did seem to be baiting another game there for sure, or something, at least something more for Metaphor. But yeah, I really enjoyed the game. Probably, I don't know. I'm having a hard time. There's a lot of good games that came out this year. I don't know if I could still put it number one. It's probably number one. It might be number two. I don't know. I still really liked Remake Part 2. And then, I suppose also, Like a Dragon was great as well. I guess I really just like JRPGs. Who could have thunk? But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it for Metaphor. I'm probably gonna switch over to Wuthering Waves. There's new content in that I want to do. So I'm probably gonna switch over to that. But yeah, that was Metaphor. It was great. Definitely a masterpiece in my eyes. And, GG's Atlas. Thank you guys so much for watching.